Hey everyone, Dr. Zio here again, and we're finally at that point. It is finally time to review the Power Rangers Dino Fury, series finale you could call it. Season 2, Episode 22, The Nemesis. And yeah, this is a pretty good finale here. The best Power Rangers has seen since RPM, I want to say. There's a lot I want to say here, so let's just jump right into it. As always, we'll do our summary, likes, dislikes, conclusion, and there's really no question of the week this time around. I mean, I guess, we can do a question of the week, but let's just jump right into it. So, what happens in this episode? Sorry, it's an emotional moment, you gotta draw it out. But no, for real though. The episode starts off with the Rangers and the Rangers and Tarek and Solon back at the Dino Henge base, and they're saying, okay, Void Queen's cocoon's gonna blow up, and Tarek's like, that's not all that's gonna happen. She's gathered up so much energy that when she blows up and destroys whatever in that 30-mile radius, there's something that's gonna emerge from there. But he doesn't know exactly what it is, and neither do the other Rangers. So they all teleport to they all teleport to Buzz Blast, and they're like, okay, we need to figure out a way to move this thing out of here and away from Pine Ridge. Zato floats the idea of using the Dino Knight armor, and then he says, okay, maybe the Dino Knight armor will let me get close enough to the cocoon, and I can teleport away. Tarek says, no, give me the Dino Knight morpher and key. I'll transform into Void Knight one more time, and then I'll get this out of here. Like, I need to do this. And they're like, okay. So he takes the Dino Knight morpher and key, transforms into Void Knight one last time, is able to penetrate the cocoon's defenses, and then teleports away. They teleport over to the desert. God knows where that desert is in Pine Ridge or outside of Pine Ridge. And then the Rangers hear an explosion. So that is the cocoon blowing up. So the Rangers morph and teleport to the desert as well. They see Tarek a few feet away, passed out, or I guess mostly unconscious, and the Dynamite morpher and key are both broken. They wake up Tarek, and he's like, no, this isn't the bad part. And he looks behind him, and they look up, and there they see the Nemesis beast. It's Void Queen's giant, all the power of the Sporks combined, or all the Sporks combined into this giant thing called the Nemesis Beast. And inside the heart of the Nemesis Beast is Void Queen piloting it inside of this disgusting, fleshy thing. They put some good work into that cockpit, because when she's moving the Nemesis Beast, she uses, she's holding onto its bones, and she's using that to move the monster, and that shit looked good. And basically, Amelia's like, okay, I'm up. So she tries telling her that, I'm your daughter, and Void Queen's not hearing any of this. She keeps blasting the Rangers and everyone, and Zato's like, okay, Solon, we're gonna need all the Zords. And when he says all of them, he means every Zord that they have, because it's time to take out the Nemesis Beast and Void Queen. They can't play around any longer. So the Rangers call the Zords. They tell Tarek to get to safety, and the Rangers take on Void Queen in the Nemesis Beast, while the Rangers combine into multiple different Zord combinations. So we have Amelia and Ion in the in the Mosa Cosmic Megazord. We have who do we have? So we have the Dino Fury Megazord Smash formation with Zato and Ollie, Terra Free Zord Battle Mode with the Garcia siblings, Izzy and Javi, and then we have the Mosa Cosmic Megazord with Ion and Amelia. And, they put up a good fight, and even the Zord fight here is good. We see some unique shots that we haven't seen throughout the season, but it's really not enough. Void Queen does a lot of damage, and she ends up blowing the Megazords, not to pieces, but they all separate back into their individual Zord forms, and the Rangers have to eject from the Zords. The Zords themselves are fine, though. And when they eject from the Zords, okay, they're like, alright, Zato's like, this is it. There's only one thing we can do. So he calls out the Dino Master Saber, and he's ready to use its final attack. And the Ranger's like, no, you can't do that. And just before he has any chance to go any further, Void Queen again blasts him with one of her energy orbs, and that blows them away and away from the Dino Master Saber, which kind of impales itself in the ground. And Zeto's like, no, let me do this. I have to do this. And Amelia's like, no, I've got an idea. And so they have a damn good fight scene. And it's all original footage where the 5 Rangers, Ion, Amelia, Izzy, Javi, and Ollie, all teleport in from the sky, right? Well, all of them except for Amelia, they all teleport in from the sky. And they start, like, surfing on the Nemesis Beast's arms, and they start attacking the little henchmen that Void Queen summons. And it's we'll get more into this here in a moment, but yeah, they start attacking them. They're basically trying to cause a diversion so that Void Queen opens up the Nemesis Beast's cockpit again. And when she does, that's when Amelia teleports in, and Void Queen blows everyone back. She blows Amelia's helmet off, and Amelia latches onto the side of the cockpit. And then she's like, I'm your daughter. And Void Queen, again, is still not believing anything that she's saying. And she ends up blowing Amelia off the cockpit. But the Rangers, they don't see where she lands. But the other remaining Rangers, aside from Zato, they demorph and they hit the ground. And so at this point, before Void Queen can deliver any sort of final blow, our boy Zato is prepared to make that final sacrifice. He says, Void Queen! And she looks up, and my boy has all the Zords encircling around her, and he's got the Dino Knight Saber. He's ready to make that final sacrifice. He tosses himself up in the air, activates the ultimate attack. The Zords ensnare her in this, I guess, snare. And all the Zords, their energy goes into the Dino Knight Saber and becomes a giant sword. And Zato uses it to ram into the cockpit's chest. Now, at this point, the cockpit is closed. But he rams it into the Nemesis Beast's chest. The sword starts cracking, and then there's just a huge explosion. This blows back all the Rangers and Tarek, and they're like, oh no. And the Nemesis Beast falls over, and it starts the energy around it starts fluttering, right? Like, it's clearly damaged at this point. And everyone gets up and they're shouting, Zato! Zato! And Ion's like, Zato! And Ollie's like, he's gone. And Ion's like, I know. Unfortunately, again, they don't know where Amelia is at this point. Unfortunately, though, that wasn't enough. That sort of a bunch of false-ass advertising, because Void Queen teleports out of the Nemesis Beast, and she's like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm still good. My Nemesis Beast, that is still good. My Sporix, they're all still good. Y'all haven't done anything, and your Red Ranger's gone. He's dead. That part of the sword did work. And so, before she can deliver any sort of final attack to the Rangers and Tarek, Amelia pops up and she grabs onto Void Queen. At that point, she starts transferring the memories over to Void Queen and shows her what she showed Tarek. And that's everything that Santora went through, in addition to everything that Amelia's learned here in the last few episodes, and that I am your daughter. And Void Queen starts, she starts wrestling with her feelings for a minute, and then she summons an energy orb and throws it at the Nemesis Beast. The Nemesis Beast, blows up, and we see just Sporix raining on the ground. And then she de-transforms from Void Queen. All the Sporix energy dissipates. The hate and the anger is gone, and we're just left with Santora. And so we have a nice little family moment where Amelia, Santora, and Tarek all embrace as a family for the first time. And that was heartwarming. It really, really was heartwarming. Now, at this point, the Morphin Masters pop up. And they're like, good job, Rangers. We felt a surge in the Morphin grid. It came as quickly as we could. And they're like, we see that the Dino Knight Saber worked as intended. Which it didn't. It most certainly didn't. That was false advertising, but whatever. And they take the Sporix, because the Sporix are depowered at this point. They take them, encase them in that little crystal prison, And then the Rangers are like, hey, can you revive Zato? You know, you did it once before. Can you please do it again? He sacrificed himself. And the Morphin Masters basically say, nah, he's good. He knew what he was getting into. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Really? Like they feed them some BS about how he's in the grid. He's in the energy that's made up around you. He's in, the sky. Everything that the grid touches, Zato is in. And then they summon his necklace that was somewhere in the sand, and they give it to Ion before piecing out with the to go, I guess, put the sporks away so that they can't harm anyone. And then at this point, everyone teleports away, and we get a time jump to 6 months later. Now we see, back at Area 62, we see Aurea and the other Ravkonians are moving into Area 62. We go inside, we see we see Emilia and Ollie helping Pop Pop, and Pop Pop is basically handling renovations of Area 62 to make it into a more livable, homely space for its new inhabitants. On the flip side, we walk further in, and we see that Tarek and Santura are talking about baby plans because Santura is pregnant because as we mentioned in the previous video, her actress was 9 months pregnant, so they decided to incorporate that into the storyline. And the baby to be is a little girl. So yeah, Emilia is going to have a little sister. And then the Rangers get a ding on the Morphers, so they leave and they go outside of Buzz Blast. And basically, we see Ion has its own cafe, which I want to pause real quick to note the fact that Ion's cafe, in the previous episode, we saw that same cafe was called Pine Ridge Cafe, which tells us that in the 6 months from that day, Nemesis Beast Day, Nemesis Day, let's call it. In the 6 months since that day, Ion somehow came up with a loan. I don't know where this boy got credit, but he got enough money to buy out Pine Ridge Cafe and turn it into Ion's Cafe, or whatever he's calling it, so he can serve Ravkonian treats like Flargon cake to Jane and Jayborg, and milkshakes or smoothies or something to the rest of the crew and Fern. And I'm like, where is this boy getting his money? Just a few episodes ago, he was over here talking to Dr. Akana, asking her for some money so that they can get takoyaki in Japan. Where was this loan money when you needed it then? Like, I love how this series is just like, yeah, this is it. This is Ion's endgame. I mean, I have no problem with my man being able to embrace his Ravkonian heritage and being able to openly have his antennae out and everything. That's cool. I'm down with this. But I'm like, bro, where were you and Zato and even Ollie getting all this money? Like, Ollie, okay, maybe, he gets an allowance from his mother. But where were you and Zato getting money throughout the season? Because I have not forgotten about the episode with Izzy's sketchy gym teacher, gym coach, and how Zato was the first person. He jumped at the opportunity to give Izzy money for those expensive ass replacement jacket. Like, my man, where were you getting this money? Ion, where are you getting your money? Because apparently you have so much money that you can buy yourself, that you have enough credit to buy yourself a cafe. I have so many questions. But on a more serious note, yes, Ion serves Flargon cake to Jane and Jayborg. They love it, apparently. And then he serves either smoothies or shakes to the rest of the Rangers and Fern, who are watching Izzy's highlight reel, I guess. She set another record for the state or the school, one of the two. And she also got accepted into Oakdale College, so she'll be going there, whenever. So that's nice that the power couple is reuniting, and we have her in her gown and cap. And then while they're all talking, they can hear a key song being played by somebody in the background, and that key song is Spotlight, Javi's song. So Javi goes over to sign his fans' guitar, and that's a nice little moment. And then the Rangers get a call from Solon. there's a buildup of energy just just in Dino Henge, and the Rangers need to get over there quickly. So Fern gives Izzy the nod, and everyone teleports over, minus Fern, obviously. And Amelia thinks it's a ghost, but it's not a ghost. What it is our, as Russell Curry termed it on Instagram, our Ghost Ranger, or our Red Ranger, White Ranger, whatever. Basically, it's my boy Zato. Zato is back in a new costume that we, at this point, you've probably seen. I posted it here on the channel in an earlier video. But it's a grayish, red, white, silver, I'm colorblind, excuse me, outfit, with the red Dino Fury logo going down the middle. He still has his regular helmet, and he has like a nice little cape. And my boy basically tells us that the Morphin Masters brought him back for a special mission. And that is, well, a special mission for all of them because Lord Zed has escaped, and they gave him new powers, and he came to get his Ranger team, and they all morph, and they teleport away for adventures to be continued, because at the time that this was written and filmed, Cosmic Fury wasn't a sure thing. This was all just done, to give, as Simon Bennett says, to give the executives and higher-ups a chance to see that, maybe y'all should continue this, They didn't have a for sure go on what the next season was going to be. So this really could have ended in a de facto cliffhanger, RPM style. But I'm glad it's not, because Cosmic Fury is up next and Lord Zed's going to be the main villain there. And I can't wait to see where this goes. Now, one thing to note there is that Simon Bennett also said that the suit that we see Zato in, that's not his Cosmic Fury outfit. That's just a one-off thing. They didn't know about Cosmic Fury when they designed this outfit, so again, you should not expect to see him in that outfit in Cosmic Fury, if not for like a moment or two. I'll try and post the picture of the tweet there, or him saying that in this video, in the post-production stuff. But yeah, a lot happened in this episode. Let's go ahead and talk about my likes. So my first like is when Javi ends up asking, when they're in the base at the start of the episode, and they ask, what's gonna pop out of the cocoon, Izzy said, "Well, I'm guessing it's not cute baby birds. It's dorky. You could argue that it kind of ruins the levity of the situation, or the gravity of the situation. But I liked it. It was funny. It's a Garcia sibling moment. I dug it. I'm not gonna complain about that." Also, when the Rangers see the Nemesis Beast for the first time, we get one last coolio from Zato, but it's not a coolio. It's more of a coolio, like a stunned kind of response instead of cursing. So I like that, and I can't wait for more coolios going into Cosmic Fury. So yay! Additionally, what is it? I think it's Ollie who says that, we fought bigger monsters before with our Megazord, and Izzy's like, can we get a fact check on that? And I like that. That was funny. A nice quick follow-up, and it reminded me of back in the track field day episode when we were first introduced to Fern and Izzy's cousin, or Izzy and Javi's cousin, that is, when Ollie told them that he would do anything to be able to run as fast as Izzy, and Izzy came with the quickness when she said, "Would you wake up at like 5 a.m. to do this?" And he's like, "I don't know about that." Like, I like that. Izzy's quick on her feet with these comebacks, and I love it. I love every bit of it. But yeah, when the Garcia siblings are in the Megazord and they go to attack Void Queen, Izzy says Garcia siblings have entered the Garcias have entered the chat. And when Void Queen's Nemesis Beast blows them away, Javi says, we've exited the chat. And I'm like, that was unnecessary, but it was funny. Like, just, again, one more moment of millennial or Gen Z dialogue from the Garcias, and I love it. I can't say no to that. The original fight on the Nemesis Beast, though, was phenomenal. All of that was original footage. I loved it. I loved every single bit of it. It was so so cool to see them sliding down the Nemesis Beast. We saw one more instance of Garcia's sibling synergy when Izzy tossed her sword to Javi, and then he slashed two of the henchmen, and then she turned around and she threw the little henchman's little pole arm device. And it reminded me of, when we were first introduced to Izzy and she was using the javelin. Like, it was like a callback to that moment. It was nice, again, having one more moment like that in this season. And as I've said before, the way that they've used teleportation in this season has been phenomenal. It's the best use of teleportation in Power Rangers, bar none. They really, really thought this through. In all of those moments that we've seen throughout the season where they've been smart about teleporting, whether it was teleporting away from a monster just before they attack you, or teleporting a monster out of Dino Henge in the base or outside of Dino Henge, again, all smart uses of teleportation, all of that culminates in them teleporting and falling from the sky in a free fall so they can land on the Nemesis Beast. And that was a beautiful moment. Like, it gave us so much payoff for all the teleportation moments, and I loved every single bit of it. And I cannot wait to see how they use teleportation in Cosmic Fury, because this is just, it's exciting. It's exciting. I love the effect. I love the fact that they have to turn their dial on the communicator. Just everything about teleportation in Dino Fury is great. And it shows that they really cared about bringing that element back with this season of Power Rangers. And I just, bravo to the writers, to the effects crew, everyone involved in that. Just bravo, because that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. One more thing, or a lot more things to add. Zato, when he hops off the T-Rex Champion Zord with, when he's holding the Dino Master Saber, he says, "Goodbye, old friend." And I mean, again, it's another parallel, because when we first got introduced to the T-Rex Champion Zord in episode 2, I think it was Sporix Unleashed, Zato, when he got into the cockpit, he's like, "Hello, old friend." So for him, his last moment with his Zord his last moment with the Zord, and his last moment in his costume to be him saying, "Goodbye, old friend," it's touching. It's tear-jerking. Like, this was a legitimately sad moment. Like, this episode was legitimately sad. Like, yeah, it was sad. It was good and it was sad. And then Ion running and yelling, "Zato! Zato!" after his sacrifice, it was emotional, because yes, Ion still has his friends that he's made along the way throughout this journey, but at the end of the day, there are only 2 people alive in this whole universe that we know of that have been with him for that long time, and that's Solon and Zato. And now one of those people is gone, and that's got to be heartbreaking. Like, I cannot possibly imagine all the feelings that Ion was going through in that moment. I felt that when Jordan Fight was yelling for Zato. Like, I really did feel that. Bravo on that, my friend. When Ollie and Amelia are trying to help, what is it? Tarek and Santoor choose a color for the baby crib. They're fighting over Briarwood Green, Corinthian Sunset, and Ocean Bluff Blue for the crib. Which all those, Briarwood, Corinth, and Ocean Bluff are all cities from different Power Rangers seasons. So again, a nice little continuity nod there. I don't know why exactly that would be an in-universe thing, but I don't care. It's a nice little continuity nod in reference to different, Power Rangers seasons, so I like it. Again, it reminds me of the 2017... Was that 2017? Oh my god, that was so long ago. Yeah, it reminds me of the 2017 Power Rangers movie when they had, the corner of Mariner Bay and I think it's Ocean Bluff. They're the street names, so yeah, it was nice. Asking for consent before reading minds. They've done that multiple times in this season. Whether it was Zato asking Aurea if he could read her mind, and even here, when they're trying to figure out what color to make the crib, Amelia says, "Ooh, I know." So she asks Santoor if she may, and Santoor's like, "Yeah, go for it." And so Amelia touches Santoor's belly, and she reads her baby sister's mind, and that's how they come up with a choice on what to go with for the crib's color, which I don't remember the choice of the crib's color. I'll note it here in the video. But additionally, hustling. Another funny moment that I forgot about was when Javi was gonna autograph that one fan's guitar. Izzy in the background's like, it's $10 or $15 for autograph or for t-shirts and such dollars for autographs. And Javi's like, she's just playing around. I'm like, it's good seeing Izzy supporting her brother with that kind of, or her older brother with that kind of thing. Like, just the two of them supporting each other in general. That's something I've liked seeing in this season, as I've mentioned before. And I'm glad we got to see it one more time. What else was there? When Solon, or when Zato revealed himself and took off his helmet, Solon's like, Zato, my boy, you're alive. And like, there was emotion on that you're alive part. Like, that was heartbreaking. Like, I cannot imagine what Solon must have been feeling for those 6 months, knowing that Zato was gone. He had sacrificed himself in that final Sporks battle. Like, again, I will get to that bit here in just a second, because that's also part of my dislikes, unfortunately. But yeah, my last bit is when the Rangers morph just before teleporting away to go fight Lord Zed. Zato says smooth, and again, this is a nice little callback to episode 2 when the three Rangers first do their morph, and Ollie and Amelia get the key part right, and Zato pauses and he's like smooth, and then they continue with the morph. There's so many callbacks in this episode, and they all hit very well, and they touch my cold heart, my cold emotional heart, and I loved it. I loved it a lot. But let's go ahead and talk about my dislikes. First and foremost, the Morphin Master's not reviving Zato. Like, I understand that when this episode was written, this was supposed to be the final episode. There were, they didn't know if Cosmic Fury was going to be a thing. They didn't know if they were going to get another season. I get it. You don't want to kill off Zato because killing off your Red Ranger is ending the season on a bummer. But damn. Like, I would have liked it if my boy stayed dead. That would have had one hell of an emotional impact on the end of the season. Like, oh my god, that would have been shocking as hell. I feel like bringing him back a few minutes later just really cheapens the impact of him being gone. Like, I didn't like that at all. Did not like that. But specifically the Morphin Masters themselves. The fact that they feed the Rangers this line about Zato exists in the grid and he's in everything you touch, in the air that you breathe, in whatever, and yada yada yada. Like, come on, bruh. Like, you told these Rangers that the Dino Master Saber's final attack, or ultimate attack that is, it would destroy whatever it connects with, as well as the user. And yet, here we are. It did not destroy the Nemesis Beast, and did not destroy Void Queen. It knocked them down, sure. It would give you a window of opportunity to do more damage if you had any Zords left over, but you didn't. The Rangers didn't have any Zords. Rangers didn't have anything that they could throw at them. No Dino Master Saber, no Zords, and especially no Dino Knight armor, because that thing's busted, okay? And they especially didn't have any of their battle armors. Like, that's all gone too. Like, I don't... The Morphin Masters are some assholes, real talk. Just real talk, they're some assholes. Like, I cannot believe... No, I actually can believe it, because this is totally par for the course for them. Like, they do not care about these set of Rangers, okay? As long as their mission's done, that's all they care about. Zato is only back because they have another mission to fulfill, and that mission is capturing Lord Zed or destroying Lord Zed. Whatever the endgame is supposed to be here for Cosmic Fury, but whatever. Screw the Morphin Masters, alright? So I'm going to interrupt myself because while editing this review, I realized I do have one more dislike that actually did really bother me, but I was tired when I made this, so yeah. For real though, the fact that Santura gets off scot-free after everything she's done really bothered me. And again, I understand, this is a 22-minute show, you only have so much time to tell, the story that you want to tell, right? So some things can be rushed. I definitely feel that now that we've seen all 22 episodes of this season and we've gotten to our conclusion that Santora's side of the story was pretty rushed. I mean, Void Queen, she got off way, way, way too easily. She gets to have her happy family, and then we jump to 6 months later. She's having a kid. She's living in Area 62 with the other Ravkonians. There are literally no consequences to be had for her actions. Out of everything that happened, Zato died. That's like the worst thing that happened, and that's not even a consequence to her. We don't see even a hint that anything weighs heavily on her conscience, and maybe we'll see that in Cosmic Fury. But as for Dino Fury, I don't think it's a satisfying ending for her specifically, because, yeah, again, there's just no consequences. Let's look at Rancic, another good villain from Power Rangers Time Force. He was a terrorist. He was a terrorist from the future. And by the end of the season, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Time Force and you do want to watch it, they end up arresting him. And even going into reinforcements from the future, the crossover with Wild Force the next year, spoilers for that as well, the show makes it a point to show him initially in jail. They have to get him out of jail. So he's been in jail for however long it's been since the Rangers went back to the future and the Rangers went back to the past for the Wild Force team up. Meanwhile, Santora doesn't really have any of that. Again, she gets a pretty good life out of everything. And you could try arguing that Santora and Void Queen are separate entities and that Santora was influenced by the power of the Sporix, but that's not necessarily true. Even before we got the full backstory of what happened with Tarek and Santora back at Area 62, when Santora came out of her, I guess, stasis chamber, we saw very clearly that she was dead set on getting revenge on the humans. She willingly imbued herself with the power of the Sporix. And then from there, all hell broke loose. She took control of Area 62 and the Sporix beasts and the robots. And she then, terrorized the town. She forced Tarek to, attack the humans with the Sporix beast. That's something that Tarek had never done. And the show makes it a very clear point to show in season 1 and leading up to Santora's revival in season 2 that Tarek, as Void Knight, never wanted to harm people. His actions were specifically to get the power of the Sporix. It was never to harm anyone or anything like that. So him getting off relatively scot-free is okay in that sense. But Santora, as Void Queen, there was a very stark contrast in her actions, and the events in season 2 made it a very clear point to show this. Now we see her specifically going after humans because they took something from her. We later on learned that something is their daughter in Amelia, and we have to assume that to some degree it's also their time because they were held prisoners. And you could say that it's the trauma from having all this happen, and that's agreeable. Like, I agree with that 100%. But again, yeah, the fact that she got off scot-free from all this, it just doesn't sit right with me. The Sporix power didn't corrupt her mind at all. It just gave her the power to accomplish her mission. We see when she's Santora in the beginning that she wanted to get revenge on the humans, and we see in the flashback that she wanted to get revenge on the humans just before she passed out. So again, this was all her doing. The Sporix power as Void Queen just gave her the power to actually make good on that revenge. So yeah, I do think she should have had some sort of consequence, and I do think it's a negative for the episode. And I guess Dino Fury as a whole, that she gets off scot-free and she's just cool with everyone's just cool with her having a family. And I really do hope that going into Cosmic Fury, they spend at least a few moments addressing this. But yeah, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Oh yeah, and my last dislike. Where were Aurea and, well, not where, but the fact that Aurea and the Ravkonians weren't involved in the final fight. I understand that the previous episode kind of set them up to be out of the final fight. Ion called them to go help with the evacuation efforts, and that's okay. But I just feel like their absence here in the final fight, they didn't really seem all that necessary in the grand scheme of things. Like, yes, they helped defeat the Sporix Beast in episode 20 and 21 for the most part, but we didn't really physically see them do that much, and that really bothered me. Like, we didn't really get much Ravkonian love, and granted, I guess the Ravkonian mystery wasn't all that important in the grand scheme of things for Dino Fury. I need to rewatch the season and really look into that, because, yeah, it didn't really feel too much importance. But, yeah, I do wish that I wish at least Aurea could have been there for the final fight. Like, that would have been dope. But yeah, conclusion-wise, I even with my dislikes, 10 out of 10. Like, the episode was fucking phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Like, again, the teleportation scene, amazing. The Zord fight, really good. The Zato's ultimate attack, really good. Zato and Tarek being adamant about sacrificing themselves to really atone for their part in the sports being released and Void Queen being the way she is. Again, loved it. The family togetherness from the Ravkonian trio. Again, good. Just good. Like, 6 months later events, yeah, it's okay. That's okay. But yeah, everything here was good. Oh wait, no, I do have one more dislike. And that dislike is the fact that we don't get to see Solon react to the news that Zato was dead. I really didn't like that. And I understand, again, this is a 22-minute show. You only have so much time to do things. I get it. They probably couldn't fit this in. However, I still don't like it because Solon was basically a mother figure for Zato, okay? She was basically a mother figure. She spent 65 million years with this boy in that stasis chamber. Whether that was her, tidying up the ship, her trying to convert the ship into, or the base, tidying up the base, converting the base into a spaceship, or, just making sure Zato is still alive, or just doing crossword puzzles, or just chilling. She was with Zato for 65 million years. That's a long time. So of course we see throughout the season that she has that motherly bond with Zato. Like, she is very protective of him. So it would have been super, super sad and impactful for us to have the Rangers teleport back to the base, and for Ion and her to share a moment where Ion's like, Zato, he sacrificed himself. And Solon doesn't even have to let him continue the sentence, because she can probably see all this from the base, and she can be like, I know, and they can share a hug. I just wanted to see her reaction, and for her and Ion to share a moment for their fallen comrade. Like, that would have been so nice. It would have added some extra bit of weight to Zato coming back later in the episode, and Solon being like, Zato, my boy, you're alive, because we could have juxtaposed that against her reaction to Zato being dead. And that would have been fantastic. But again, I understand that it's a 22-minute show. They can't really get that kind of stuff in there. Alright, so as for our questions of the week, the only final questions I have for this season are just two of them. One, how did Lord Zed escape? We know that the Morphin Masters had him in a crystal, and they put him off onto some sort of planet to keep him safe. Well, who broke him out? What happened? Was it Slither? Not Slither. Sorry, was it Scrozzle? I think it was Scrozzle. It was probably Scrozzle. I'm guessing, because Scrozzle was unaccounted for. Speaking of unaccounted for, Slither and Mucus. Mucus, after the Rangers teleported away from the dunes, we saw Mucus' slimy self, sliming away and giggling. Mucus and Slither did survive, and we saw later on, in the 6 months later, we saw a little poster of Dr. Sly's, carnival thing. So yeah, my boy Slither is circus. There we go. It's a circus that they're doing. So Slither and Mucus are in their human forms doing a circus. I don't know how Mucus went back to her human form, though. That's weird. Like, we haven't seen her shapeshift outside of being blown up, but I guess maybe she figured out how to do that. But yeah, it's cool to see that they're still alive, and hopefully they appear in Cosmic Fury, because that would be dope, and I love those two. But yeah, the only other question I have that shockingly never got answered is, what were the Ravkonians running from in the first place, or defending themselves from? We know that they created the Sporix to defend themselves from evil forces. And yet, through all of this, once we finally see Aurea and the Ravkonians, when we get a briefing of what the Ravkonians have been doing since the destruction of Ravkon, they never tell us what exactly they were defending themselves from. We don't know if it was Lord Zed, we don't know if it was the United Alliance of Evil, Dark Spectre, or some sort of force that we haven't seen yet. Like, there's no answer for that question. I really hope that we get that answer in Cosmic Fury, even if it's something as simple as it was Lord Zed or Dark Spectre. Like, I'm just hoping that we get that answer. I honestly do expect it. Like, I don't expect to not have that answer. Like, I feel like they left that thread open on purpose. But yeah, those are really the only questions I have. That's it. That's episode 22 for y'all. Thank you for watching. It's been like 80 something hours I've spent doing all of this. Whether watching each episode 3 times, once for my own pleasure, a second to take notes, a third to do my tweets on my Twitter channel. Like, that's a lot. And then recording these videos, editing these videos, all this takes a lot of time, a significant amount of time. And I still have a full-time job on top of this, and social plans and all that other kind of stuff. So 88 hours I've dedicated to this. 80 something hours, let's say. At least. And I've had so much fun. So much fun. So really, oh no, getting emotional. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed, who's liked the video, who's commented, who's watched the video, even if it's just for a few seconds, or we've watched a full video, whatever, any of the videos I've posted over this last year and some change. Really, thank you so much, because I appreciate you joining me along this journey. Whether you're new or you've been here from the start, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. You are the reason why I'm still doing this, and this has just been so much fun. And Dino Fury has been a fantastic season. I'm glad I've been able to share my thoughts on the season with all of you. Just thank you. Thank you so much. And I cannot wait for Cosmic Fury to watch that, and for the Mighty Morphin project next year. The 30th anniversary is going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I really can't wait. But yeah, more Dino Fury videos to come eventually. I need to take a break right now because God knows I'm tired. I'm so tired. This has been a lot of work, and I do need to take a break. But once that break is done, we'll get some more Dino Fury videos. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. As always, still stay masked up. Get your COVID booster, because Omicron boosters are available, and COVID is no joke. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. More videos to come. Thank you again. Thank you. I'm Dr. Zio, and I will see you all in the next one. And I'll see you all next year for Cosmic Fury reviews. Yeah, thank you again. Peace. Let me know what y'all thought about the video and the videos I've made and the season in general. What have y'all thought about it? Let me know. I'll see y'all in the next one. Ciao.